All right. Boston Marathon, men's field, just like the women's, it's loaded. You have 7 of the last 8 champions of this race, and you also throw in Kenenisa Bekele making his Boston debut, Jeffrey Kamworor making his Boston debut, and for the United States, Colin Benny, Elkanah Kebet, Scott Fauble, Jake Riley, Jared Ward, CJ Albertson. It's going to be a incredible race. Boston is benefiting, just like on the women's side of things with the men, from the fact that they don't have to compete with the London Marathon. Obviously, we don't know what Kipchoge is going to do because this was the only spring marathon. But outside of Kipchoge, you have so many big names in this race. It's going to be sensational, just like the women's side of things.
Yeah, once again, I mean, the people who probably would have gone to London are just coming here to Boston
Mhm.
because it's the only race in town or in the world. I mean, there's other
Yeah.
races in the world, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah, I guess the one name I was thinking potentially could have been on it was Galen Rupp.
Hmm.
You know, we see it's a,
Hmm.
Molly and Sarah on the women's side who are running world championships. They're running Boston, so you would
Yeah.
think that maybe Galen could do the same thing, but Galen, has that connection to one. He does the Boston Chicago back and forth, so it's like one of his go to places. But looks like he's deciding to. I mean, maybe he wants to. I don't know why he would do. Maybe he's going to
Yeah.
focus and run on like go to Prague or something like that and try to run a fast time. Maybe that's his goal because you're
Yeah.
not going to get a fast time at Boston. So maybe he wants to use the spring marathon season to find a fast race. Um, but that was the only name that I saw notably missing. But everyone
Yeah.
else, it's like, yeah. And obviously, we always want a Kipchoge, but we still have to wait another season or two before we get Kipchoge running here in the U.S.
He's got to wait until he's done every other marathon and accomplished everything else before he comes to the Boston Marathon or New York Marathons of the world. I'm excited for it. It's got a lot of star power here. Someone like Titus Akiru, who he DNF'd in London, but he ran sub 203 last year. You have Chirono, who's a defending champion, who I think's other than Kipchoge. I think if we didn't have Kipchoge, I think Lawrence Chirono would be number one ranked marathoner in the world right now. I want to throw a trivia question at you though, Gordon.
I'm not going to get it right.
I think you
Just
could.
telling you right now.
I think you
I
could.
don't know.
As I mentioned, this race has 7 of the last 8 champions. Which one is missing?
I am not typing on Wikipedia right now. I'm totally not.
It's an
Where is a
obvious
list of
answer.
champions?
It's an obvious answer. I would not ask you this if it was a person who we don't know very well. And I kicked myself when I realized what the right answer was because I looked it up.
Uh, I don't know.
Meb.
Oh, Meb. Yeah, Meb. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Meb was within the
Which
past 8 years. That makes sense.
Meb's around. Meb should run it.
He should.
Make it
Yeah.
8 for 8. Make it 8 for 8. That'd be cool. Uh yeah. So this is gonna be terrific. I think this is gonna be, I mean, a Boston we remember on both sides. That American field is pretty cool as well too. And Benny, I'm interested to see what he does after how well he's been running recently. Cabet, top American in New York. Fauble, Riley, Ward, obviously very experienced. Albertson made it really interesting in the fall. Boston, it'll be great. It'll be great. Okay,